The thing I've realized about people being wealthy is that a lot of the time they spent hours and hours and hours and still do trying to be useful. And I've realized the thing about people that really aren't all that wealthy and really don't think about money too much spend hours and hours and hours of their time doing not the things that make them useful to other human beings. So I wanted to make this video to convey to you how it is that you can become wealthy in your life in all different aspects, not just monetarily. My name is Dr. Tourav Rai. I make videos about emotional intelligence every day. My mission is to get the catalysts in society moving so that we can make the world a little bit better, a little bit smaller. So in terms of having the mindset of wealth, the basics that I always tell people is directly stolen from Mr. Grant Cardone, someone that I respect and I hope to meet one day. In fact, very soon I will meet the man. Is poor people spend money, middle class people save money, rich people invest money, and wealthy people give money away. So the cool thing about that statement in a philosophical sense is that you can trade that word money out for a lot of different things. The reason that the wealthy use money as a measuring tool is because it's one of the few things in human creation that's genuinely quantitative for progress. I mean, if you think about it, how do you know if you're being a better artist? How do you know if you're being a better human being? How do you know if you're being more useful? There's very few actual numbers that you can rely on to get to the conclusion that you're actually moving forward. So that's why I like to use money, because at the end of the day, if we are more valuable to society, if our minutes are just that much more impactful to more people, we're going to get paid for that. And that, I think, is something that we all are not taught in school. We're not taught by our parents very often, if they've existed in the poor, middle class, even rich class. It's this concept that spending the time to make our time more efficient is very, very important. And it actually necessarily will be reflected in literally how much we get paid daily. I always tell my assistants, I tell the people that work with me, that it's so important for us to be thinking about the people that are coming next in life, and that abundance is a part of my core values. I mean, I don't know if it makes much sense to very many people, but I certainly want everyone in my life, oh, look at this house, look how pretty this is. I certainly want everyone that I work with and in my life to have a sense of abundance with them, because that just means that they're giving. Like, that just means that they're constantly looking for opportunities and constantly enjoying and being grateful for the little things, you know? There's so much that we can do in our day-to-day that would make the process for someone else coming up behind us a little bit easier. And so the thing that immediately comes to my mind about making the process easier for other people is perhaps we're spoiling them, right? If we make everything so dandy and easy for everyone, then what about all the work that we put in? What about all the shit that we had to go through? And to that I say, okay, well, if you have that mindset, what's the point of having technology? What's the point of having any sort of growth in humanity if we're not constantly forging ahead, making things more efficient, making the average human being more valuable, right? With the introduction of AI, the introduction of the internet, introduction of these business classes that are literally being given out for free, finance, wealth classes that are literally being given out for free, worth tens of thousands of dollars, because these people went through the experience and cared enough, had large enough hearts to be like, you know what? Why would I hold on to this information? If someone had told me this when I was 20 something, I would be in a crazy place in my life. So why would I hold that? You know, now that, my friend, is a powerful, powerful way to think. And it's actually the philosophy that will guarantee, in my opinion, having wealth in life. Always trying to think of ways that you can be more useful to more human beings. Now, I kind of wanted to get back to that other point of measures of, whether or not we're actually growing, whether or not we're evolving in the places in life that we want to. And I think one of the major things that we're looking for, as studied by people that measure longevity and satisfaction and happiness in life, is quality of relationships, the depth of relationships. And as it turns out, this philosophy also affects that. So, you can probably already bridge the gap, but to put it really plainly, if you're a better human being, if you're actually more useful, if you have more contacts, if you have a better attitude, if you're funnier, if you're more lively, you're better for everyone else around you. I don't see anything wrong with that. And if you're better for everyone else around you, and you can convince those people that are around you to also improve themselves, then the depth of your relationships also improves. Because you have more to talk about. Think about the amount of people, and this might be me and you, to someone else, but think about the amount of people that have the same conversation year after year. Think about the amount of people that have quite literally nothing to talk about and instead resort to drugs to have a good time together. It's an immense issue. It's quite an issue. And we don't really take it as an issue because a lot of times no one has told us that there's another way to go about it. And really the way to go about it is formulating a philosophy that is so individualized, so grounded in what other people have done, what other people have accomplished that we look up to, that it actually makes sense. Right? It actually does something for us in our lives. So I say to you that next time you spend your hours judging rich people, or judging people that maybe have more money than you, or judging people that, in a negative sense, I think judgment's honestly a necessary part of human nature. It's a necessary part of making sure, look at this bush, it's just hanging over this thing. You're like, I'm not gonna cut it, I'm just gonna make it look cool. These houses are really nice. Judging people is important, judging things is important. It helps formulate, our baseline, our zero. But in terms of, throwing these words out like selfishness, or throwing these words out like evil and guilt and responsibility, throwing these words out and defining someone by virtue of what they have achieved in their life, I think is often very, very short-sighted. And it's something that I'm constantly reminding people, like, dude, you know how much time and energy it takes to make $1 million? Like, to be worth $1 million? You know how much time and energy it takes to be worth $10 million? Let's take it a scale up here. You know how much time and energy it takes to be worth $100 million? Okay. Now we're getting outside of the conception of most human beings on the planet. Okay. Now let me keep going here. Let's go to $1 billion. $1 billion to most people, honestly, including myself, is like trying to measure the depth of the Grand Canyon merely by looking at it. It's not possible. In fact, it's an illusion to some degree. And when we get into those ranges in life, when that becomes a possibility, life begins to change altogether. And then the magic in life starts to come out. So I want to convince you that, perhaps your goal isn't to be this million billionaire, okay? But perhaps your goal is to help people. And you know that helping people, all that's really required is for you to improve as a human being consistently. Okay, use that improvement, use that dedication, and make yourself more useful to the most amount of people. And I guarantee you, as you start to study these things, and as we start to associate with one another, as we start to have those deeper conversations, as we start to grow our philosophies in life, life becomes a lot more beautiful, even in the darkest places. So, highly encourage it, highly suggest having really big goals. You know, Uncle G inspired me, and I'm here to inspire you guys. So, actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself.